talked about the basic concepts of social interest and self-interest. So self-interest being what's in it for me, and social interest meaning what's in it for the group, for the organization, for folks outside of myself. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of walk through this chart that really helps us to kind of explain and talk about the issues, the problems that may come in when social interest and self-interest are out of balance. Because it really becomes hard to operate and be effective, particularly in workplaces, in schools, when these two things are out of place, and it becomes extremely difficult to change. All right. So we have axis A, which is self-interest, and we have positive self-interest and negative self-interest. We have axis B, which is positive with others, and negative with others. And so one of the things that we recognize is that when we have positive self-interest and we have positive social interest, we come up with this idea of collaboration and working together. And so this would be our number one priority, or place that we'd like to get, where there's a good balance between self-interest and interest with others. Now, we'll go through this some more in just a second. And then there is self-interest that is negative and positive for others. And this is where that concept of the diva or the martyr comes in, right? So the diva says that this stuff, the diva and the martyr kind of syndrome kind of go hand in hand. The diva will show up in some other places as well, but I want to spend some time talking about the martyr. So the martyr is the person that will stay late when they don't have to, will sacrifice their time, their energy. Sometimes they don't even get their own work done because they're doing other people's work. These are your social butterflies. These are the people who succumb to peer pressure, who engage in social activities before they get their work done. These individuals are all about self-sacrifice because they want to either be a part of the group or they have a need for the group to go on. I think of a movie that kind of capsulizes this individual. And this individual is like 7 pounds. So Will Smith did a movie where he was giving away his body parts in order to quote unquote help people. But when people didn't need his body parts, it was problematic for him because he needed to be needed, right? And so that's the martyr, and that person is also all about self-sacrifice. And so when we have positive self-interest, and we have negative relationship with others, we have a bigoted or self-centered or narcissistic person. This is a person who believes that I am at the center of the universe. And this is kind of where the divas come in, right? So the divas and the bigoted folks are very much related because the divas say, I'm the center of the universe. What I think goes, it's all about me. I don't care about anybody else. I have a bigoted folks say, I have a certain and a particular way of thinking about this stuff, and you can't change my mind. And so that becomes extremely problematic because what we understand in life is that you can't, no man is an island. No individual can operate individually 100% of the time. And so that becomes extremely problematic. And then lastly, we have the anarchist, which is when there is no self-interest and there's no interest for others, or there's no social interest involved in their behaviors. And those folks are really dangerous because they have nothing to lose. They're not engaged. They don't have, they're kind of the anarchist folks who believe that anything kind of goes because, no one cares and there's no accountability. And so when we think about these four areas, we can start to see that with people's motivations, these help to explain some of their behaviors. And so as we look at these things, we understand that these are also on a spectrum, right? And so if that is 10, and this is negative 10, and this is negative 10, and this is plus 10, we know that folks can fall on different areas of this chart, right? And the great thing about it, looking at things in this way, is that you can use this as a tool to help people guide their own behaviors, to take an assessment of their own behaviors and determine how they want to be. And all too often, we ask people to be these martyrs, to be these people who self-sacrifice, to be these people who give up their lives. And in my younger days, people would often say, well, since the married people aren't in relationships or don't have kids, give them those tasks. Well, that really undermined our morale, right? I mean, to just do that, because what that said was that the self thing, irregardless of what other people are doing, was more important to the organization. And if we're not clear about these two axes, sometimes we can cause ourselves more problems in our organizations than we actually solve.